So, what we are talking about today is the unloving things we do in the name of love. So,
And there are so many.
there are so many. So, let's get into it. Before we get started, um, let's define what is love.
Well, I was thinking about this, and usually we think of romantic love, but love is there are many types of love. In the Greek language, they have different words for different types of love. But there's romantic love, but there's also parent child love and sibling love and in-law love and your friends loving your friends. But I think the biggest love that we have is for our pets. People love their pets more than the human beings in their life. They'll do anything for that pet because the pet responds so beautifully and is totally dependent and but a little independent. It it's really a real deep love. And the other love that we have very often is for a particular activity or possessions. And that can be a really powerful love. So there are all kinds. But when we're talking about relationships, then the type of love for particularly in romantic partners, but even in friendships, is when you're not seeking and looking for love and longing for love and trying to get love and expecting something and demanding something. It's not about you. That's what the problem is. We think love is what I'm supposed to get and receive, and it's going to make me feel good. But it's more about you being present with another person and letting that person just be who they are and appreciating them for who they are. That could be the hardest thing that we ever do. It's
Mm.
especially in a long-term relationship because you see things you don't like. You fell in love at the beginning and you loved that this person was ambitious. And then they're ambitious and you're annoyed that they're taking all that time and they're not paying attention to you. It's like seeing who is this person? What do they love? What do they want? What's important to them? And letting them have that, but also honoring yourself and letting yourself be acknowledged and appreciated and noticing when either you're not showing much appreciation for whatever reason or the other person isn't, and then discovering what where the balance is and is this something that's workable.
Yeah, I think that I'm really glad you said that because I feel like that's a really important distinction when we what you just described when you're letting somebody, you're loving somebody just the way they are. Like you said, sometimes it's the hardest thing we can do is appreciate them just the way they are. And I've heard that a lot in relationships. It's like a man I was seeing said, "I just want people to love me the way I am." And I was like, "Okay, but are you loving them the way that they want to be loved as well? Are you loving them? Are you appreciating them the way they are too?" And I think that sometimes there needs to be some melding of that together. What do you think about that?
Well, there's this other half of it. Love is giving and it's also receiving. So if you're giving and you're accepting and loving and it's not coming back to you like that,
Mm,
then you're in a lower point. I'm thinking of politicians because we have so much of this going on where people are insulting and just
yeah.
saying terrible things. If you're just accepting and loving and you don't say something back, you're going to end up losing because you seem weak. So there's something about standing up for yourself too and speaking up and saying this is not okay because I don't feel appreciated. Like really letting the person know, and people respect you more for that.
Mm.
It gets somebody very uncomfortable if you're always accepting them and forgiving them and tiptoeing around them and letting them be when they know they're not doing something right. Then
It's
they
kind
don't appreciate you and they can start to be mean and you don't understand why.